Okay. So the Houston Rockets. Oh man, this was tough. The Houston Rockets lose in game 7 to the Warriors, 103-89. And man, I just want to just talking about the game, man. From start to finish, the Warriors had control. Start to finish. I don't think the Rockets led once the whole game. And that's something to say. The I gotta tip my cap to Steve Kerr. They did a great job. They did a great job of defending the Rockets this game. Um, I would say Shangoon was neutralized by Looney and especially Draymond. He just couldn't really get it going. And that's how the Rockets run their offense. They run it through Shangoon, they run it through Alpi, and he wasn't able to get it going this game. But I would say this: Amin showed up. Amin Thompson showed up. He proved to be, he's going to be the future. We all know he's going to be the future. Amin Thompson, he came out in the second half. He was lights out. I think he made a score like 6 or 8 points in the first 5 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes of that second half. But man, it was just a rough game to watch, man. Fred Van Vliet, he came down back to earth. And that's I'm not disrespecting Freddie, but he wasn't, lights out how he was, the past 3 games, when it came to, shooting behind the three, shooting from the arc. But but I would say this too: Steve Kerr did a good job of he blitzed Fred Van Vliet as well. He knows that Freddie has been, pretty much dominating the past 3 games, and he neutralized him as well. So I would say, man, Steve Kerr, good job. And one thing, Buddy Hield, oh my goodness, Buddy Hield, what, 22 points in the first half? 22 points for Buddy Hield in the first half. That's like, I think Steph only had what, like, Steph had like 4 points in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. Buddy Hield had 22, and they still led by what, 10, 12 points at half, with Steph only having 4 points. So that wasn't a good sign at all. That wasn't a good sign. Tari, he came in, he gave some energy. Bari wasn't, the Golden State just was the better team tonight. It's plain and simple. The Golden State Warriors, um, they deserve to win this game. There's nothing the Rockets could have done. I not saying none of the Rockets could have done better. It's just they were just outmatched this game. And that's how it goes sometimes. But as you're looking towards, and also I want to say this: Draymond Green, I noticed this. He kept his cool for the most part of the game. I don't think he was, complaining to the ref like he usually does. And I think that's something to look into. If he keeps his cool, it seems like it, it was smooth sailing for them. It was. He did pick up that tech against Fred Van Vliet, and yes, I'm a Rockets fan, but I thought that tech was a little bogus on Draymond. He did. I think he made it seem a little more. Um, it looked a little bit more egregious than what it really was when he got fouled. Fred reached, fouled him, and then he like kicked up his legs, and then he hit Fred in the face. I don't think it was intentional. It didn't look intentional to me, but he hit Fred in the face, and they called a tech on him. I didn't think that was a tech in my opinion, but like I noticed, Draymond Green kept his cool. He kept his cool, and the Warriors kept their cool. They cruised to a victory versus the Rockets, man. And this leads to a big question. Of course, the Rockets 500 last year, second seed this year. Nobody really saw it coming. But this leads to ask, who will, you know, will there be any changes? Will there be any changes? I know Steven Adams is a free agent. Who else? I think Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green. I think you have to prioritize bringing back Steven Adams. Even though when the Warriors went zone today, man, the offense was just stopped, man. The offense, it was rough looking at that. So this team needs shoot, but Steven Adams showed that he is still valuable. And what year? He's what, in year 12, 13. He's still one of the best rebounders in the league. And I think Houston has to bring him back. They have to. But this playoff series, he will have more bidders. I would say that he will have more teams looking at him. Just seeing what he brought to the table this series. But yeah, again, this goes back to what will the Rockets do this offseason? What will they do? Do you think a big move needs to be made? And there are some big names potentially on the market for, trades. You got Kevin Durant, Giannis, maybe Devin Booker. The Suns may just blow it up. I'm thinking Zion, right? Um, I'm thinking of those. Those are like the first couple of players that come to mind when I'm thinking of players you can shake up. It's a big shakeup. In terms of the timeline, like I mentioned, the Rockets are ahead of schedule. I think if you're the second seed and you're in Ime's second year, I don't think you want to regress. I think, of course, the West was tough this year. I feel like all of them. It was, even though everybody but OKC was pretty much, neck and neck for the most part, in my opinion. But man, it's like, what's the plan? It's like, who do you make that move for? And I think it's going to be. Well, I have a couple scenarios. If you trade for Kevin Durant, Jalen Green has to be in that trade package. Jalen Green, you're probably looking at uh, any of these guys can be involved in the pack. Of course, that Suns pick, will be involved if a trade was to happen. I think we have what, two Suns picks, first round picks. Um, Jalen Green would be, he would headline it. If you're trading for KD, it would be Jalen Green. In my opinion, he would be headlining that trade for the Rockets. Probably, you're looking at Reed Shepard, Tari, Jabari Smith. I'm sure he's raised a lot of, eyebrows with his play, even though he didn't have, it wasn't a huge game tonight, but in the previous games he was shooting lights out from beyond the arc. And of course he has that nice two dribble pull up. And then you're looking at Giannis, man. And then if you're looking at Giannis, I think this may be unpopular. I know he was all-star this year. If you're looking at Giannis, if you want to go out and get Giannis, I think you have to, just for spacing reasons. Because I don't think them together would fit. If you're looking at Giannis, I think you gotta come up off of Alpi. Excuse me. I think Alpi has to be involved in that deal. Even though, like I said, he was an all-star, had a fantastic year. But if you're looking at Giannis, Alpi has the headline. And then the guys that I mentioned, you got the Taris, the Baris, the Reese Shepards, the Cam Whitmores, and then, throwing some picks. So I feel like if you're going for KD, Jalen Green has to be in that trade. If you're going for Giannis, Alpi has to be in that trade. And then another option is, do you want to just keep the team together? Do you want to keep the same core and run it back again? I don't know, man. Guys will have to make some improvements. A man, of course, has to develop that jump shot. And I think Jalen Green just has to get stronger, man. It's been in this series. I know he struggled from the field. He had a couple nice games. I think last game, and of course in game 2 when he exploded for 38, I think he was solid, but I think he has to get stronger, man. I feel like even though they were blitzing him on those one-on-one, when he had to go one-on-one against the opposing guys like Moody and Buddy Hield, they did a good job of, staying in front of him and bumping him off his path. So I think he just has to get stronger, man. If the Rockets are going to run the same team back, I just don't know where if they're gonna run the same team back, those guys just literally have to make improvements. Um, I think oh yeah, oh, and I forgot to mention Fred Van Vliet. He does have a team option, so that's another thing to think about. Do you bring Fred? Man, Freddie has some great games past 3 games. Do you bring Freddie back? That's another question. Do you bring Fred Van Vliet back? I like Fred, man. I think you keep Fred. I think you keep Fred. Like I said, this if you're going for Giannis, Alpi has to be in that deal. If you're going for KD, JG has to be in that deal. That's just how I'm thinking. I don't think you or KD or if you can trying to get Devin Booker, JG has to be in that deal. I don't think anybody else really, Devin Booker, KD. I think KD is the more realistic. I don't think the Suns want to trade Devin Booker. I think KD is the more realistic target. And then of course with Giannis, you know, looking at the Bucks, they have really no assets. Dame just suffered Achilles tear. They don't really have any young players. They traded away that who AJ Johnson to the Wizards, so they don't really have any young assets. So I think that's another team to look at, man. But if it was up to me, just based off of how teams play you in the playoffs, I think, I think, I think KD. I think you try to go out and get KD. As much as I love this young core, much as I love Jalen Green, watching him develop, I think you try to go and get KD. I think that's the move. If they want to make a splash, if you want to run a team back, run it back. But like I said, these guys are going to have to amend. JG, they're going to have to develop that jump shot now. Man, he's in year 2. He's in year 2, so first, and again, a lot of these guys, this was their first playoff experience outside of Fred Van Vliet, Steven Adams, Dylan Brooks. Everybody else who was playing, this was their first action in the playoffs. So I will cut the team some slack, but that's going to have to be, it's going to be some tough decisions made this offseason, in my opinion. You got Freddie on the team option. Steven Adams is a free agent. Who else? I say Aaron Holiday. Yeah, no, yeah, I think that's about it, man. But man, great season for the Rockets. Of course, would have loved to be in that second round, but it didn't work out that way. The Warriors were the better team tonight. They absolutely were the better team. That others stepped up. Buddy Hield, you get 33 points from Buddy Hield. Man, what 33 points from Buddy Hield. Who else? Curry had 22, Butler had 20, and then Draymond had 16. I don't even know how many points does Draymond average in the regular season? What, like eight or nine? And he gives you 16. He almost pretty much doubles his regular season average. They were just the better team, man. Shout out, man. I'm not gonna say shout out to the Warriors, man. These guys have been the big bad wolf to the Rockets organization over the past decade, man. Since the Harden era. I talked about this on the last video, man. It's like the Warriors always eliminate the Rockets. The Harden era, every single year, Harden and them made it to the playoffs, except for one year when they got bounced by the Spurs. It was always the Warriors. It's like, man, can't these dudes always just like these dudes always just around. Yeah, it's tough, man, but we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. But again, great year, but for the Rockets, hmm, we'll see what they do this offseason.